Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiv Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, we're starting a chapter 5, text 1. Arjuna Vacha Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam Jashansasi Yachreya Etiorekam Tanme Bruhi Sunishitam. Arjun said, O Krishna, first of all, you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? So, last verse of chapter 4, Krishna says, therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with the yoga of Bharat, stand and fight. So, Arjun gets confused again, whether to take up knowledge, renounce work, work with devotion. Arjun is not confused. It's for us who read Bhagavad Gita without understanding, without approaching a guru and without understanding from a bona fide guru, we can get confused. And that is why I have seen people, they quote verses of Gita from here and there, and they say this is the conclusion. No, conclusion is what Krishna has given. Sarva dharman pariteja mam ekam sharanam vraja. That is the conclusion. The whole Bhagavad Gita is taking us towards that conclusion. So we cannot just take one shloka of Gita out of context and then say this is the conclusion. No. Conclusion is that only because that's the last teaching of Krishna in Gita. But so many doubts we all have, and they will be cleared slowly when we read the whole Bhagavad Gita. Of course, Prabhupada has given the conclusions in the purport. Every purport, Prabhupada brings it up to the same level because that's what Prabhupada said. This is Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is what Krishna wants from every shloka, because that's the conclusion, and he brings it up in every purport. So even if, Prabhupada said, even if you read just one purport, you can become Krishna conscious. Because he has given everything in every purport of Bhagavad Gita. So here Prabhupada says, in this 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that work in devotional service is better than dry mental speculation. Devotional service is easier than the latter because being transcendental in nature, it frees one from reaction. So devotional service is easier than the latter. Latter means dry mental speculation because it is transcendental in nature and it frees one from reaction. And this reaction actually is what makes us take birth again and go through the whole cycle of birth, old age, disease, death, adidevik, adibhautik, adhyatmik, klesha. These are the reactions. Ultimate aim of the soul is not to remain in the material world, to get out of it. But so-called as dry mental speculators, they don't come to that goal. They'll just use the word jugglery to confuse us more. Prabhupada further says, in the 2nd chapter, preliminary knowledge of the soul and its entanglement in the material body were explained. How to get out of this material engagement by Buddhi Yoga or devotion service was also explained therein. In the 3rd chapter, it was explained that a person who is situated on the platform of knowledge no longer has any duties to perform. Now, if somebody just reads that, they'll say, oh, so you mean if you study Bhagavad Gita, you're not going to work? You're not going to, kids might ask, oh, so you're not going to take care of us, our future, our education? It doesn't say that. This is our speculation. Arjuna, after listening to the whole Bhagavad Gita, and in the 18th chapter, we'll see, Krishna asks Arjuna that, have you understood everything I said? Do you have any questions? And Arjuna says, no, all my doubts are cleared. Karishe vachanam tava. And Krishna still gave him option. Yatechasi tatha karo. Do as you like. And then Arjuna says, Karishe vachanam tava. I'll do as you want me to do. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Not that Arjuna ran away from the war after listening to Bhagavad Gita. He fought the war. And he, the biggest warrior from Pandava's side, who killed so many warriors of Kauravas. And this was after listening to Bhagavad Gita, after realizing the whole knowledge. So Gita doesn't say no duties, no work. It says, third chapter, it was explained that a person who is situated on the platform of knowledge no longer has any duties to perform, but he still works, and works with the right consciousness. That's the idea. And in the fourth chapter, the Lord told Arjuna that all kinds of sacrificial work culminate in knowledge. However, at the end of fourth chapter, Lord advised Arjuna to wake up and fight, being situated in perfect knowledge. Therefore, by simultaneously stressing the importance of both work in devotion and inaction in knowledge. So work in devotion and inaction. Inaction means devotion. Devotion in knowledge. Krishna has perplexed Arjuna and confused his determination. So simultaneously stressing the importance of both work and knowledge means work in devotion. So again, work in devotion doesn't mean we just leave everything and go sit in the temple and only do bhakti, or only do so-called devotional service that everybody is familiar with. Arjun fighting and killing people in the battle of Mahabharata was his devotional service. He wasn't doing arti and lamp offering in the battlefield. He was killing people, and this is considered devotional service for him. Because he was doing it in the right consciousness. I'm not saying those who do deity worship in the temple, they're not doing devotional service. They are definitely doing devotional service. But that's not the only way to do devotional service. That's the point. Krishna, by doing this, Krishna has perplexed Arjuna and confused his determination. Arjuna understands that renunciation in knowledge involves cessation of all kinds of work performed as sense activities. But if one performs work in devotional service, then how is work stopped? In other words, he thinks that sannyas or renunciation in knowledge should be altogether free from all kinds of activities, because work and renunciation appear to him to be incompatible. And this is not his doubt, it's our doubt. And those who don't understand Bhagavad Gita, and those who try to understand Bhagavad Gita through Bollywood movies, or the TV serials, that's not the right way. We won't even go learn medical science from Bollywood movies, or engineering from Bollywood movies. They're just good for entertainment, that's about it. Nothing to do with the real knowledge. So why do we think we can learn Bhagavad Gita from Bollywood movies? I know there was an old song, Karam kiye ja phal ki chinta mat kare insan, ye hai Gita ka gyan. Is that Gita ka gyan? That verse appears in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Karmanye vadikaraste. If that was it, Krishna would have stopped right there. but he spoke 16 more chapters afterwards. So there must be some higher knowledge. But this is what people think. Oh, and this is the essence of it. And so even in India, we talk to people and he asks them, what do you think Gita says? Now, this is what they all quote. Karam kiye ja phal ki chinta mat kare insaan. Work is worship. Work is worship, but depends upon who we want, who are we working for, and with what consciousness. That nobody talks about. So they're not getting the right message, right knowledge, and that's where the real problem is. And actually, Gita should be taught in schools. From very beginning, children should learn. It is nothing to do with Hindu religion or Islamic religion, because this is the message for the soul. Soul is not Hindu or Muslim or Christian. Soul is soul. Even the body is not Muslim or Christian or Hindu. Body is made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, which is not Hindu or Muslim or Christian. It's our upbringing, conditioning of the mind, that we give it a name. Oh, I'm Hindu or I'm Muslim. Who is this I am we are referring to? Soul is not Hindu, Muslim, body is not Muslim. It's our thought process, our consciousness, which is limiting us. We have to get out of this limitation before we understand who God is and what does he want us to do. But Kali Yuga means time for fight, quarrel and hypocrisy. That is Kali Yuga. And that is why Krishna gave this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita towards the end of Dwapar Yuga, before Kali Yuga began. So because in Kali Yuga we cannot understand so lofty scriptures. It's not possible for everybody. So he gave the essence of all the scriptures, all the knowledge in Bhagavad Gita. So at least just follow that and make your lives perfect. Ultimately, this is what the Creator wants from the whole creation. Make your life perfect, come back to me, come back to the spiritual world. Why you want to suffer in the material world? Whether we follow Hinduism or Islam or Christianity, everybody is suffering. Everybody is suffering. Whether or rich or poor or black or white or yellow or brown, whatever color of skin we have, everybody is suffering. Birth, old age, disease, death, everybody is going through this. It's not sectarian that only Hindus take birth and die, rest everybody is eternal or immortal. No. So this knowledge is for everybody to follow. Krishna spoke the knowledge in Sanskrit. Prabhupada translated in English, gave his commentaries in English. Just because Krishna spoke it in Sanskrit doesn't mean only Sanatani Hindus can follow. Even we don't know Sanskrit anymore anyway. It can be translated in Arabic. Prabhupada gave the purpose in English. It's for everybody. So all it is we can understand and apply in our lives. That's all. Prabhupada further says, he appears not to have understood that work in full knowledge is non-reactive and is therefore the same as inaction. So work in full knowledge is non-reactive. So work in full knowledge can only be devotional service. That's all. And that is why it is non-reactive. There is no material reaction to that activity. And that is why it's same as inaction or akarma. Akarma doesn't mean no activity. It means activity which has no material reaction that we have to suffer for later. even pious activities, end up in suffering. Even if somebody does lots of pious activities, so he has to take birth again to get to enjoy the reactions of those pious activities. And once somebody takes birth in the material world, getting a material body, he is prone to commit sinful activities, and still is even though one is very rich, because of pious activity, one can be either rich or knowledgeable, very intelligent, good looking, has lots of followers, any of these things, or many of these combination can also happen, but he still has to go through birth, old age, disease, and death. And then adidevik, adibautik, adhyatmik klesha. One has to, this is how material world is designed. Today we think, we look at big leaders, whether political or industrial leaders or technology leaders. Don't they have issues? Don't they have problems? They have more problems than ordinary people have. They have more stress throughout their life. They are stressed because of competitors, because of maybe government, other issues. So many people are there to try to pull them down. And they have to continuously watch that out. So what's the point? Might as well, because we have to work. Nobody says we don't have to work. We have to work. Might as well do devotion service and get out of this material world altogether. Why do other activities and suffer again and again and again? This is knowledge, real knowledge. And this is what Krishna is giving us through Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada is explaining it in very simple language so that we can follow it. So he appears not to have understood that work in full knowledge is non-reactive and is therefore the same as inaction. He inquires, therefore, whether he should cease work altogether or work with full knowledge. And Arjuna is confused for us to understand whether we should stop working or work with full knowledge. And this chapter, chapter 5, entitled is Karma Yoga. Third chapter was also Karma Yoga, but fifth chapter is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. It's many steps higher than just Karma Yoga. Text 2. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreyasa Karavubho Tayostu Karma Sannyasa Karma Yoga Vishishyate. The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work and devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Yeah, it clearly says that. Tayostu karma sannyas, karma yoga vishishyate. Karma yoga vishishyate. Now, somebody can say karma yoga. Krishna says karma yoga. And Prabhupada translated as work in devotion. So real karma yoga is actually work in devotion. Yoga, when term yoga comes in, yoga means linking with the Supreme. Linking what? Linking our consciousness. So when that consciousness is linked with Supreme, we'll work actually for the Supreme Lord. So karma yoga actually means work in devotion. Of course, people, many big industrialists, big businessmen in India, when you go to their office, they have this sign on the table, work is worship. And they all say, oh, I'm doing karma yoga. Well, how is it karma yoga? I'm doing karma yoga, I'm making money, I'm taking care of so many employees in my company, but they won't tell how much profit they are keeping in their pocket, in their bank accounts, obviously not. But how is this karma yoga? How is this linking oneself with the Supreme without the knowledge of the Supreme, without working for the pleasure of the Supreme? How is this karma yoga? How are we connecting with Krishna? Just by saying I'm doing karma yoga doesn't mean we are doing karma. And Prabhupada says, fruitive activities seeking sense gratification are cause for material bondage. Prabhupada does not mince words here. He is hammering it. Fruitive activities means activities we do seeking sense gratification. Fruitive means we are working for the fruits of the work. And the fruits of the work is sense gratification, whether it is gross senses that are going to be gratified or mind, which we give some satisfaction to the mind. Are cause for material bondage, not liberation. Bondage means taking birth again and again. As long as one is engaged in activities aimed at improving the standard of bodily comfort, one is sure to transmigrate to different types of bodies, thereby continuing material bondage perpetually. But there is so much of ignorance among people. They say, oh, agla janam kisne dekha ji? Main kya pata aage kya hone wala. Who has seen that? Or, okay, if whatever comes later, we'll see, but right now let me enjoy. Even in our present lifetime, we don't follow this so-called philosophy, which is nothing but philosophy. Why? Students, when we are students, we're always told, abhi padhai karo, exam lo, achhe se pass karo, college mein admission lo, your life will be better. Did we say, aage kisne dekha ji, abhi let me enjoy? And when we are working, suppose we have a job, we keep money aside for our retirement, do we say, oh, aage kisne dekha, let me enjoy this money right now? We don't say that. Keep money aside in the savings, invest somewhere, so that when I'm old, there's some backup is there. Even businessmen, they keep investing here and there. You never know when the business is going to go down. Need some money for future. Nobody says that, oh, aage kisne dekha, let me enjoy. Why, when it comes to spiritual knowledge, people say this, aage kisne dekha? And this is what Prabhupada is saying. And this is not, he is not saying, I think, I believe this, because this is coming from the scriptures. And he quotes this. Srimad Bhagavatam confirms this as follows. Nunam pramattah kurute vikarma yad indriya priteya prinanti na sadhu manne atman yat atmanoyam asan api klesha da asadeha prabhav parabhavastavad abhodha jato yavan jigyasata atmatattvam yavat kriyastavad idam manovai karmatmakam yena sharirabandha. Okay, what's the meaning? People are mad after sense gratification and they do not know that this present body, which is full of miseries, is a result of one's fruitive activities in the past. So body we have now, which is full of miseries, we all know that. We all have been through a lot and still going through a lot. And in future, we don't know what we'll go through, whether it is disease, sickness, or some kind of anxiety, stress, tension. Maybe somebody went through depression, frustration. We have been through it all. But this miserable body, which we got not by chance, that Krishna tossed a coin, or let me give this person, this soul, this body, and this kind of life, so he remains miserable, and this person, this kind of life. Let me give him some money, but he'll still be miserable. No, it's based on our activities in the past. And what activities? Fruitive activities. Although this body is temporary, it's always giving one trouble in many ways. Therefore, to act for sense gratification is not good, not advisable at all. Just to act for sense gratification, just to do activities. And throughout our day, we can see, let me eat this, let me cook this, let me talk to this person, let me watch this movie, let me do this. It's all to give sense gratification. That's all. One is considered to be a failure in life as long as he makes no inquiry about his real identity. One is considered to be a failure. But obviously, because people who don't know this, they'll only glorify people who are materially successful, whether it is movie industry, sports industry, politics, technology, industrial leaders, business leaders, professors. Their only aim, they always want to show this, oh, he is so successful, she is so successful, making millions of dollars, creating this or inventing this or that. They'll not glorify the person who's spiritually advanced, because they themselves are not spiritually advanced. They don't know the importance of being spiritually advanced. For them, spiritually advanced means he's a failure for the society. He didn't spend his time properly, or his energy, or his intelligence properly. But what scriptures say, one is considered to be a failure in life as long as he makes no inquiry about his real identity. As long as he does not know his real identity, he has to work for fruitive results, for sense gratification. And as long as one is engrossed in the consciousness of sense gratification, one has to transmigrate from one body to another. And Prabhupada uses the word transmigrate, means one can, as a human being, we can go up or down or remain at the same level. We means the soul. So we can get better body in heaven, we can remain on the same platform as human beings, or we can go down. Animal, bird, plant, fish, insect, whatever life we can get. Engrossed in the consciousness of sense gratification. Although the mind may be engrossed in fruitive activities and influenced by ignorance, one must develop a love for devotional service to Vasudeva. Mind may be engrossed in fruitive activities. Very, very nice sentence here. And it's from Bhagavatam, it's not Prabhupada is writing on his own. One must develop a love for devotional service to Vasudeva. Why? Because then slowly, our mind will start acting towards favorably serving Krishna. Maybe not 24 hours a day, maybe only 10, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Slowly, it will start turning towards Krishna. Why? Because right now our mind, in our consciousness, I think I'm this body. So I'll work for the satisfaction, comfort of this body. And this body means bodily byproducts also. But when the consciousness starts getting purified by devotional service, one slowly starts enjoying the spiritual activities, because that is the real nature of the soul. Right now, whatever we have, it's a covering on the soul, and we are looking at us through that covering. So you cannot see who we really are. So once devotional service starts to remove that covering, so we can see who we really are and start enjoying, start really developing a taste which was covered over, and start enjoying, developing bliss, getting pleasure, real pleasure in those activities. And that's what Prabhupada says. Only then one can have the opportunity to get out of the bondage of material existence. Therefore, jnana or knowledge that one is not this material body, but spirit soul is not sufficient for liberation. Not sufficient, only jnana. One has to act in the status of spirit soul. Otherwise, there is no escape from material bondage. Action in Krishna consciousness is not, however, action on the fruitive platform. Activities performed in full knowledge strengthen one's advancement in real knowledge. Activities performed in full knowledge strengthen one's advancement in real knowledge. So activities have to be there. Without Krishna consciousness, mere renunciation of fruitive activities does not actually purify the heart of a conditioned soul. Heart means not just the organ heart. In the heart, the soul is there. Soul is always pure. It's just the consciousness of the soul that is impure, or consciousness is covered over. So without Krishna consciousness, that consciousness does not get purified. As long as the heart is not purified, one has to work on the fruitive platform. But action in Krishna consciousness automatically helps one escape the result of fruitive action, so that one need not descend to the material platform. See, automatically it helps one escape the result of fruitive action, so that one need not descend, means come down to the material platform. Therefore, action in Krishna consciousness is always superior to renunciation, which always entails a risk of falling. So, action in Krishna consciousness. Now, what activities we do, that is different, but the consciousness has to be Krishna consciousness. And then our activities are pure. And yes, in the beginning, because now we are kind of having our feet on both the boards, fruitive activity, devotion service. So right now, sometimes we do devotion service, most of the time fruitive activity, which is fine. Slowly, this is how we make progress. But gradually, if we carry on, continue with our devotional service, slowly, we get so much of bliss in that, we don't want to do fruitivity. We'll still do the activity, we'll take care of our duties, but with the right consciousness. As a renunciation without Krishna consciousness is incomplete, as is confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastu mumukshubhi parityago vairagyam falgu kathyate. When persons eager to achieve liberation renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, their renunciation is called incomplete. So their renunciation is not complete because they think we can renounce things because these are all material. Better than that is using those things in the service of the Lord, because everything belongs to the Lord. Everything comes from the Lord, everything belongs to the Lord, everything should be used in the service of the Lord. Everything means our capabilities also. Everything coming from, in Krishna says later on, intelligence comes from me. Purusham, any strength, any capabilities you have, comes from me. And when he is the original proprietor, if I say, no, I'm not going to use it, then that's not correct. It's better to use it in service of Krishna. He is the original proprietor. Renunciants say, I'm not going to use it for me or for anybody. I'm completely aloof. But that's not the right mentality according to scriptures. Whatever we have, use it in service of Krishna. Just like we read the story of when the bridge was being built, Lord Ram to cross over to Lanka, and the whole monkey army. Hanumanji was doing service according to his capacity, and the squirrel was just bringing few grains of sand. She was doing according to her capacity. But both were considered by Ram to be equal. They were both are pleasing Lord Ram, and this is devotion service. What pleases Krishna, what pleases Ram. Squirrel did not sit aside that, no, I'm not attached, I'm renounced. Would that won't have pleased Ram. So this is bhakti. This is a real renunciation. Renunciation is complete when it is in knowledge that everything in existence belongs to Lord Ram, or belongs to the Lord, and that no one should claim proprietorship over anything. One should understand that factually nothing belongs to anyone. Then where is the question of renunciation? One who knows that everything is Krishna's property is always situated in renunciation. Since everything belongs to Krishna, everything should be employed in the service of Krishna. This perfect form of action in Krishna consciousness is far better than any amount of artificial renunciation by a sannyasi of the Mayavadi school. So this is a real renunciation. An example that Prabhupada has given. If I suppose I'm living in an apartment and I have so much of knowledge now of renunciation, I go outside that apartment that, okay, I renounce this apartment. Well, I cannot renounce the apartment because it doesn't belong to me to begin with. How can I renounce it? So same thing about the material world. How can I renounce the material world when it doesn't even belong to me? What actually belongs to me is the desire to enjoy this material world. So that should be renounced, and that the real renunciation is to engage the desire in the service of Krishna. So engaging the desire means everything that I see, which I think belongs to me, can be used in service of Krishna. That's all. And this is all what Krishna wants. And this is real renunciation. So anyway, I guess I can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Nice class, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, chalo. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.